Here is a first look at the new Arcane and Frost Staff changes coming to Albion Online. Now, I don't know when this will come out, but we have access to the new spells, new abilities, and the changes, and I'm going to go over them. Let's start with the Arcane Staffs. Okay, you have a new spell called Chain Missile. This will shoot a spell at an enemy and bounce 3 times, dealing a decent amount of damage, and place an arcane charge on them that will explode when you deal damage. So let me show you what it looks like. This is the Arcane Missile. Alright, I'm going to show you the attack range here. It's a pretty long range. It's a nice little snipe, and it deals good damage. Check this damage out, okay? Now, it only bounced to 2 targets there because I guess it can't travel that far away. So in this case, if these were 3 bad guys, I want to shoot one on the end so that it hits all 3 of them, dealing, well, in this case, 465 damage with my 8.3, complete, maxed out, because it is the test realm, okay? But you see this little, like, pink sparkle, little sparkle that it gives the enemies? Okay, that is the arcane charge. So what that does is when you attack them, they will deal additional damage. They will take, you see there, it popped for 234. That's what that is. So I regular attack for 56, okay? And whenever I have that little pink sparkle on them, if I hit them with any source of damage, they now take, 234, 234, 234. So it's just additional free damage. However, I've noticed that it doesn't apply if you cast Chain Missile again. It just hits them for the Chain Missile damage. It does not pop and reapply the Arcane Charge, which is unfortunate. I don't know if that's a bug or if that's, going to be fixed. I really wish it would pop, because that would make this one of the best mob clearing spells in the game, bar none. If Chain Missile alone popped the Frazzle, or whatever it is, the Arcane Charge, then, oh, it would be so good. But there is a new passive, and this passive is called Lingering Power, so whenever you cast any spell, you get 120% attack speed, and you get more attack range for 3 normal attacks. And well, guess what? This spell here, Chain Missile, that's 3 attacks. So you can very quickly tag the 3 enemies. But there's another new spell, a W spell called Enigma Blade, okay? It's not the teleporting chest from Diablo 2, but this is the attack range on it, okay? And what it does, it's just a frontal sword swing. So there you go. We hit all 3 of these targets for 769, and we can teleport as our second ability. So I guess if you're fighting a player, you would slash them with your Enigma Blade and then teleport backwards. So it kind of is the teleport chest from Diablo 2. I wonder if that's where they got the name from. Okay, so you slash and then you teleport away. Alright, so now Frost Staff is not the only one with a teleport, right? Or the cleric shoes, or the, the maid sandals, whatever. So here's how you would kind of pull off the combo, right? Is what you do is you use your Chain Missile, okay, and then you Enigma Blade all 3 targets. That will pop the Arcane Charge off of them. And look at that, 1,468 damage to all 3 of these targets very, very quickly. With just 2 abilities, that's not even buffed up. That, like, if you used a Druid Robe, you could increase that damage massively, which would be really, really good for soloing dungeons, I think, because it's an AoE and a movement ability. It's pretty insane. Like, you're clearing dungeons, you're already moving on to the next pack of mobs. Very good stuff, okay? But other than that, everything else is pretty much the same with Arcane Staffs. Yeah, there's a few nuanced changes about Black Hole and Time Loop, and also, like, the shield here, Arcane Protection. This used to be a really popular tool to rat Zerg versus Zergs with, and what you would do is you would just cast the shield on yourself and run up and loot dead bodies, and you would have a ton of health. Like, this is 2,000 additional health. I run up, I loot the body, and I get the hell out of there. But what this does now is it gives you immunity to forced movement changes. So if someone tries to knock you around, slow you down, knock you up in the air, this will eat that, but it also eats your entire shield if you block that. So it's a little bit harder to rat now with this weapon. It's still possible. It's still my choice of ratting, but whatever. So let's move on now to the Frost Staffs, okay? And yeah, I'm not happy with these changes, and let me tell you why. They got rid of Frostbolt. Frostbolt is gone. That was my #1 PvP faction fighting ability. If SBI watches my videos, I would really like if they kept Frostbolt and just made it you know, like, they added Frostbite instead. Let me show you what Frostbite is while I complain. Okay, Frostbite, you shoot it's basically a clone of that new fire spell that we got. You just shoot a bolt of frost, it deals damage, and you can kind of shoot and then shoot. And there's a little cooldown of 1 second, so you can't spam it with a cast time of half a second. It deals good damage. That's all it does. It's a very boring ability. It doesn't really do anything. Frostbolt, you could click on the target, so you don't have to, like, skill shot it. You could just spam Q, and if you stacked faster casting abilities, it got really good DPS. Against a target running away, I could land 6 Frostbolts for 400 damage each. This one deals 500 damage. So it deals more damage, but it's got that crappy cast time. It's got that cooldown. You can't spam it. I'm disappointed with this one, okay? Now, of course, Ice Shard is what you should be using in PvP anyway, but you have to aim that and people can dodge it. I like to be lazy. Alright, here's the new one, Frozen Surge. Okay, now, this one deals a line attack that is long and somewhat not really wide, 60 meters and 3.8 meters. It slows enemies for 7 seconds, okay? This is what it looks like. You just throw a little line on the ground of ice shards, okay? It kind of reminds me of that spell from New World, from the Ice Gauntlets. I don't remember what it's called, but it's basically that spell, but without the big spike at the very end. Wouldn't that, hey, SBI, if you're listening to this, add a spike at the end, at the very end of this cone. Add a little spike that juts out larger than the other spikes and deals additional damage. That way it has like a little kind of like a skill to it, right? You know, I don't know. Just copy New World, man. I know New World died, but whatever. Okay, so they made more changes. Frost Bomb here. So Frost Bomb, it starts slowing as soon as you cast it, not when it explodes. I don't know if that'll make it any better. I personally never use this spell, but as soon as you cast it, it applies the slow, and then when it explodes, of course, you know, it deals the damage. But, so if you want to slow, like, a big circle of people, it's only 20%, so they can still get out of this circle. Like, they're gonna walk out of it. They're not gonna be, you know, taking that hit. They changed Frost Nova. They made the range smaller. And they took away the immunity, okay? Used to, when you casted Frost Nova, you could teleport 1 to 2 meters further. I think it was 10 or 11 meters. Now it's 9. I could be wrong on that. But when you casted it, you had this small immunity window where you were invincible. You couldn't take damage. They took that away. Here's what it looks like now. It still does the damage. It does a stun from the area that you teleported away from, not to where you teleported to. So it's nerfed. It's basically just a nerf. Now, they added a couple new spells. I like this one, Frost Lance. Let me tell you why I like it. Frost Lance is interesting on how you cast it, okay? And I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So it's basically like shooting a... Here, I'll show you. So you can pick from this circle where do you want the cast to begin, and then you can pick the direction of where you want to cast it. So check this out. I can shoot it like this. Woo! Isn't that neat? So what this means is that you could technically cast it in front of you for some very long range if you want. So I could do this. I think it's bugged on the test realm right now. So, okay, so that actually hit. So maybe it's not bugged, but earlier it wasn't working. I don't know. I think it was just maybe the test dummy's being weird, but you can kind of snipe with this skill. Like, look how far away this shoots, okay? So that's really neat, but you can also do crazy things, like you're running away, like, oh, I'm running away, oh no, don't kill me, and then you shoot behind you, I don't know. There's a lot of different ways you can use this. You can angle it in so many fun ways, but that's not why I like the skill. Why do I like the skill? Well, look at this. It gives a damage resistance of 60 for 4 seconds. That's huge. Let me show you how huge that is. Okay, we're going to cast my E-spell. New graphic, by the way. New sounds. 1,016 damage to these target dummies, okay? But whenever I cast it again, it should deal over 1,300 damage with the Frost Lance debuff. And what that means, because it's 60 armor negation, that's about a 33% like damage increase. It's wild. It's a lot. It's a huge amount, okay? Let me show you. I'm going to hit this target dummy with Frost Lance, like so, as soon as my E goes off cooldown. There we go. And then I'm going to cast E, and look at the damage. It dealt 1,338 damage. So it did almost 300 additional damage out of 1,000. That's 30-something% of an increase in damage. It's nice. It's very nice. And then if you have Morgana Cape going, you have Ice Shard going, and you're spamming Ice Shards, it's possibly the highest DPS in the entire game. Even more so than Boltcasters. And yes, Boltcasters might have just been dethroned here. Let me show you what I'm talking. I can't really exactly show you. Well, we gotta wait 30 seconds. While we wait for 30 seconds, there's a few other ice staffs that I do want to go over. So the Great Frost Staff, I'll go ahead and show you that real quick. The only change that it has is the Hail spell. You cast the 2 Hails individually. Let me show you what that looks like, okay? Normally when you cast Hail, it hits the same circle twice in a row. But this time I can cast a circle here, and I can cast a circle over here. And that's basically the only change that that weapon had, okay? So let me just show you the DPS on this sucker. It is insane, okay? Like, you can get to some really high levels of DPS. I'm going to show you with my full combo here. Royal Helmet activate, get those 3 stacks, activate the boots, activate this, hit the Ice Lance, and then we're going to spam this, and look at that DPS. There we go. We have just passed, right there, 8,100 something damage with that combo. It's insane. That's going to kill most mobs. It's definitely going to melt players if they stand in it, but you kind of need a Camland Mace to hold them in for that. But if you are a Zerg versus Zerg player, this is just amazing. It's really good. Well, Ice Lance only hits the 1 target, though, so if you want to really kill that 1 target, he's good as dead, okay? Okay, the other one is the this staff on screen, the Promiscuous Woman Staff, I'll call it. I'm not saying that word. I am not saying that word. I don't care that it's not spelled the same way with a W, okay? YouTube will hear me say this word and think it's a bad video, okay? It's not a naughty video. The only change is that, you know, this is the spell that shoots out the rolling snowball, right? The only change that they did is that now you can push E again and detonate the snowball, okay? So it deals a little bit more damage than it used to, and it's a little bit more fun to use, but other than that, it's still a pretty useless weapon that no one's really going to bring to anything, so... anyway, that's the changes to the Frost Staff, okay? I'm really looking forward to the Arcane Staff changes. This looks like it would not be fun to fight, okay? Having the Arcane Staff, you know, put on a Moizak, whatever offhand you desire. And, oh man, this is a dirty weapon now, I'm telling you. Like, if you go up against this is going to farm corrupted dungeons very, very quickly, okay? Because we're just dealing tons of damage here. Like, 1,700 damage in just a few seconds. That's not even with the E-spell, okay? That's another chunk of damage. Like, you're going to be able to deal over 2,000 AoE damage to everything in front of you relatively quickly on short cooldown. And that's unbuffed. That's without a Druid Robe. That's without damage stacking. I mean, we can stack the damage here real quick and just see what we're going to hit. So let's get that to 6. There we go. And 1,700. And then if I auto attack, I can easily breach 2,000 on a single target. Anyway, that's the Arcane Staff and the Frost changes. I am upset that there's not Frostbolt anymore. That is really upsetting. I might unspec out of Permafrost Prism because of that. I don't know if this will be the #1 dismounting weapon to use anymore, and I have a video coming up about that in a few days. I forget how many days, but that's the changes for now. These aren't set in stone. Things could change before they're officially released. Just note that this is the test realm. It's meant for testing. This is my this is what it is. These are the new changes. This is my feedback on it. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Soul Benji. Make sure you're subscribed because I got videos every day. You get 2 videos today, so here this one's on me. It's an extra video for you. Take care, lads. See you tomorrow for a new video.